Captain Jake Morrison stood at the wide window of his ship and looked at the blue planet ahead. Earth looked the same as it did in the old pictures, but he knew everything had changed. 3,000 years had passed since humans were forced to leave their home world. Now 200 ships filled with humans were coming back. The ship was called ESS Retribution, and it was the biggest in their fleet. Jake had been born on a cold planet far from Earth, just like his parents and grandparents before him. But the stories about Earth never stopped. Every human child learned about the green forests, blue oceans, and the day the aliens came. Commander Lisa Blake walked up to Jake and pointed at her screen. It showed many alien stations floating around Earth like a metal ring. The aliens had built a strong defense around the planet. Lisa had studied these alien ships for years. She knew how they worked and how to fight them. The Zephyrians control the northern stations, Lisa said in a quiet voice. Their ships look like giant crystals and they shoot energy beams. The Korthak have the eastern side with their black metal ships. The bug-like Veltar control the south with their living ships that can heal themselves. Jake nodded and touched the scar on his face. His grandfather had given him that scar during training when Jake was young. The old man wanted Jake to remember that aliens had hurt their family. Every human carried scars from the long years of running and hiding among dead worlds. Admiral Ryan Cooper called all the ship captains to a meeting in the main room. Ryan was old, but his eyes were still sharp. He had led the human fleet for 20 years and never lost a single ship. The other captains respected him because he was smart and careful. "We will not tell the aliens we are here," Ryan said to the group. "We will hide our ships in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. From there we will watch and learn. We will find their weak spots before we attack." The plan was simple but dangerous. Human ships would turn off most of their power and drift like space rocks. Small teams would fly to Earth in tiny ships that looked like meteors. These teams would hide on Earth and gather information about the aliens. Dr. Amy Foster stood up and showed pictures of Earth on the big screen. The planet looked sick. The oceans were red instead of blue. Strange clouds covered the sky. Huge cities floated in the air while other cities sat deep underwater. "The aliens changed Earth to make it good for them," Amy explained. "They poisoned the air and water. They built their cities on top of human cities. They treat Earth like a prize they won in a war." Amy had spent her whole life studying how to fix damaged planets. She believed Earth could be healed, but it would take time and the right tools. First, they had to get rid of the aliens. Lieutenant Ben Hayes sat at his computer listening to alien radio signals. Ben was young but very good with technology. He could understand alien languages and break their secret codes. What he heard made him angry. "The aliens are not friends with each other," Ben reported. "The Zephyrians think they are the smartest. The Korthak believe they are the strongest. The Veltar just want to be left alone. They argue about who controls what parts of Earth." This was good news for the humans. If the aliens were fighting each other, they would not work together against human attacks. Jake smiled for the first time in months. Maybe they really could take back their home. The human fleet moved slowly toward the asteroid belt. Each ship turned off its lights and engines. They drifted in the darkness like sleeping giants. Only essential systems stayed on. The ships became invisible to alien sensors. Jake walked through his ship and talked to his crew. These people had trained their whole lives for this mission. Some were soldiers who knew how to fight. Others were engineers who could fix anything. All of them wanted to see Earth free again. In the ship's medical bay, Dr. Tony Garcia worked on special medicine that would help humans breathe Earth's poisoned air. The aliens had changed the atmosphere, but Tony's medicine would protect human lungs for a few hours. It was not perfect, but it would let human teams walk on Earth's surface. Meanwhile, pilot Kelly Brooks practiced flying the small ships that would take teams to Earth. These ships were designed to look like space rocks when they entered Earth's atmosphere. Kelly had to fly them perfectly or the aliens would detect them. The journey to the asteroid belt took 3 days. During this time, humans prepared their equipment and studied alien weaknesses. They learned that Zephyrian crystal technology could be broken by certain sound waves. Korthak computers had security holes that could be attacked. Veltar hive minds could be confused by fake chemical signals. When the fleet finally reached the asteroid belt, Admiral Cooper gave the order to go dark. All ships shut down their main systems and became invisible. They floated among real asteroids and waited. Jake looked out at Earth one more time before his ship went dark. Somewhere down on that planet were humans who had never left. The story said some humans had hidden in caves and tunnels when the aliens invaded. These survivors had been waiting 3,000 years for rescue. The first part of the plan was complete. The human fleet was in position and ready to begin their secret war. Jake felt proud and scared at the same time. They were about to fight the most important battle in human history. As his ship system shut down one by one, Jake made a promise to his grandfather's memory. Earth would be human again. The aliens would pay for what they had done. Humanity had learned patience during their long exile, but now it was time to come home. The blue planet continued to spin below them, unaware that its true children had returned. The aliens on Earth thought they were safe behind their powerful defenses. They were wrong. Humans were patient hunters, and they had finally found their prey. The war for Earth was about to begin. 6 months had passed since the human fleet hid among the asteroids. During this time, small teams of humans had been secretly traveling to Earth in ships that looked like falling rocks. Colonel Pete Martinez led these dangerous missions to the planet's surface. Pete was a tough soldier who had fought aliens on 12 different worlds. His body had been changed with special medicine so he could breathe Earth's poisoned air for short periods. His team of 20 soldiers had the same modifications. They were the first humans to set foot on Earth in 3,000 years. The team landed in what used to be New York City. The great buildings were still there, but they were covered in alien technology. Crystal towers grew from the old skyscrapers like strange plants. The streets were filled with floating alien vehicles that made no sound. Pete and his team moved carefully through the ruins. They wore special suits that made them invisible to alien sensors. The suits were hot and uncomfortable, but they kept the humans safe. Each team member carried enough supplies to last 2 weeks. On their third day, something amazing happened. While exploring an old subway tunnel, Pete heard human voices. He followed the sound deeper underground and found a hidden door. Behind the door was a whole community of humans who had never left Earth. These underground humans looked different from Pete's team. They were pale from living without sunlight, and their bodies were thin from eating poor food. But their eyes were bright with intelligence and hope. They had survived 3,000 years by hiding in tunnels, caves, and abandoned buildings. Their leader was a woman named Kate Williams. She was about 40 years old with gray hair and quick hands. Kate did not trust Pete at first. She thought he might be an alien spy using human appearance. Many underground humans had been tricked this way before. "Prove you are really human," Kate demanded. She pointed an old human weapon at Pete's chest. The weapon was crude, but Pete could see it would still kill him. Pete showed Kate pictures of the human fleet and told her stories that only real humans would know. He spoke about the old human holidays, the taste of real Earth food, and the songs that human mothers sang to their children. Finally, Kate believed him. The underground community had 600 people living in connected tunnels under the old city. They had electricity from hidden generators and grew food in underground gardens. They had doctors, teachers, and engineers who kept their society working. Kate explained how her people had survived. "We learned to be invisible," she said. "We only come to the surface at night and only when necessary. We steal supplies from alien warehouses and attack their small patrols, but we are not strong enough to fight them openly." Pete contacted Admiral Cooper using a secret radio. The Admiral was excited to learn about the underground humans. These people knew things about the aliens that the fleet needed to learn. They also knew the hidden places where human teams could hide. Meanwhile, high above Earth, Chief Engineer Danny Clark worked on a different kind of mission. Danny was the smartest engineer in the human fleet. He had created tiny robots called nanobots that were smaller than dust particles. These robots could hide inside alien computers and wait for orders. Danny's team used small ships to get close to alien space stations. The ships looked like space junk floating in orbit. When alien patrols found the ships, they appeared to be empty wrecks from old battles. The aliens ignored them and flew away. But inside each fake wreck, human engineers planted nanobots on alien equipment. The tiny robots crawled into alien computers and communication systems. They copied information and prepared to attack when the time was right. The aliens never knew the robots were there. The nanobots discovered that alien technology had serious problems. The Zephyrian crystal computers were very powerful, but they could not handle certain types of electrical interference. The Korthak biological computers were smart, but they could be attacked by computer viruses. The Veltar hive systems were fast, but they could be confused by fake signals. Down on Earth's surface, Pete's team worked with the underground humans to map alien weaknesses. They learned that aliens had different schedules and patrol routes. They found which alien leaders were important and where they lived. Most importantly, they discovered that the aliens had become lazy and careless. Lieutenant Sarah Miller was the team's communication expert. She set up secret radio networks that connected the surface teams with the underground humans and the space fleet. Sarah was very careful to use old human communication methods that aliens did not understand. Sarah discovered something interesting while listening to alien radio traffic. The aliens talked to each other like they owned Earth completely. They made plans for the next 1,000 years. They argued about which species would get which parts of the planet. They never considered that humans might return. The underground humans showed Pete's team the most important alien buildings. The central spire was a massive tower that reached from the ground to the clouds. This was where the alien leaders met to make decisions about Earth. The tower was heavily guarded, but Kate's people knew secret ways to get close to it. Other important targets included the power stations that supplied energy to alien cities, the communication hubs that let aliens talk across the planet, and the spaceports where alien ships landed. Each target had weaknesses that human teams could exploit. Pete sent all this information back to Admiral Cooper. The Admiral was pleased with what his teams had learned. The aliens were strong, but they were not prepared for the kind of war that humans could fight. Humans had learned to be sneaky and patient during their long exile. As the months passed, more human teams landed on Earth. Each team found new underground communities and recruited them to help fight the aliens. The underground humans were eager to help because they had been waiting 3,000 years for this chance. The underground humans taught the space teams how to move invisibly through alien cities. They showed them where to find food and supplies. Most importantly, they shared their hatred for the aliens who had destroyed their world. Kate Williams became Pete's partner in planning attacks on alien targets. She knew every tunnel, every hidden passage, and every weak spot in alien defenses. Together, they prepared for the day when humans would strike back. The second phase of the human plan was working perfectly. The aliens still did not know that humans had returned to Earth. The nanobots were in place and ready to attack alien computers. The surface teams had found allies and mapped enemy weaknesses. Admiral Cooper looked at the reports from Earth and smiled. Soon it would be time for the next phase. The aliens had ruled Earth for 3,000 years, but their time was ending. Humanity was ready to take back their home. The attack began at exactly 12 o'clock Earth time on a Tuesday morning. All across the planet's orbital space, tiny nanobots that had been sleeping for months suddenly woke up. Danny Clark had programmed them perfectly. Every nanobot activated at the same moment like a vast invisible army. The first thing to die was the alien communication network. Zephyrian crystal transmitters stopped sending signals. Korthak biological relay stations went silent. Veltar hive communication nodes began broadcasting random noise instead of organized messages. Within minutes, the three alien species could not talk to each other or coordinate their defenses. Next came the orbital defense platforms. These massive weapons had protected Earth for 3,000 years. The nanobots crawled through their computer systems like electronic termites. Targeting computers forgot how to aim. Power systems overloaded and shut down. Some platforms began firing at each other instead of protecting the planet. Admiral Ryan Cooper watched the chaos from his flagship hidden in the asteroid belt. His sensors showed alien defense networks failing all across Earth's orbital space. Green lights on his command screen turned red as alien systems went offline one by one. It was the most beautiful sight Ryan had ever seen. "All ships prepare for attack," Ryan commanded through the fleet radio. 200 human ships powered up their engines and weapons. They had been drifting silently for months like sleeping predators. Now they were fully awake and hungry for battle. The human fleet moved toward Earth in perfect formation. Each ship captain knew exactly what to do. They had practiced this attack thousands of times during their long journey from the outer colonies. Human ships were smaller than alien vessels, but they were faster and harder to hit. Captain Jake Morrison led the first attack group toward the Zephyrian crystal stations. His ship, ESS Retribution, accelerated toward the largest alien platform. The platform tried to fight back, but its weapons could not track Jake's fast-moving ship. Jake's crew fired missiles that shattered the crystal structure like glass. Other human ships attacked different targets. Commander Lisa Blake led a squadron against Korthak bioships. These alien vessels were tough and could heal damage to themselves. But Lisa had studied their weak points for years. Her ships fired special weapons that poisoned the bioships and made them die from the inside. The Veltar tried to escape rather than fight. Their living ships moved toward the edge of Earth's solar system as fast as they could travel. But human pursuit ships caught many of them before they could reach safety. The bug-like aliens had never faced opponents who could match their speed. Down on Earth's surface, Colonel Pete Martinez watched the space battle through his binoculars. Flashes of light filled the sky as human and alien ships fought above the clouds. Pete knew this was his signal to begin the ground attack. Pete's infiltration teams emerged from their hiding places all across the planet. They struck at alien ground installations while the aliens were distracted by the space battle. Underground humans joined the attacks with weapons they had been saving for 3,000 years. Kate Williams led her underground fighters against an alien supply depot in the ruins of Chicago. Her people moved through subway tunnels and emerged inside the alien compound. They destroyed alien vehicles and equipment before disappearing back into the tunnels. The aliens could not catch them because they did not know the underground passages. In what used to be Los Angeles, another team attacked a Korthak command center. The aliens inside the building were trying to contact their ships in space, but their communications were still jammed by nanobots. The human attack team captured the building before the aliens realized what was happening. Dr. Amy Foster activated her atmospheric processors from a hidden base in the Rocky Mountains. These machines began cleaning Earth's poisoned air and water. The work would take years to complete, but it was starting immediately. Amy wanted to begin healing Earth while humans were winning the war. The space battle lasted 6 hours. Human ships darted around slower alien vessels like angry wasps attacking bears. Alien crystal ships broke apart when hit by human kinetic weapons. Bioships died when infected with human computer viruses. Living ships fell silent when their hive minds were disrupted. Admiral Cooper received damage reports from his ship captains. Humans had lost 30 ships, but aliens had lost more than 200. Most importantly, Earth's orbital defenses were completely destroyed. The planet was now defenseless against human attack, but the most important target was still protected. The central spire in what used to be New York City was covered by a powerful energy shield. This tower held the alien leadership and the main computer systems that controlled all alien forces on Earth, Commander. Lisa Blake volunteered to lead the attack on the central spire. She took her fastest ship down through Earth's atmosphere toward the alien tower. Her ship was hit by ground-based weapons, but its armor held. Lisa crashed her ship into the tower's shield generator and knocked it offline. Pete Martinez and his ground teams immediately attacked the now vulnerable tower. They climbed up the outside walls using special equipment, while underground fighters emerged from tunnel entrances inside the building. The aliens were trapped between two human forces. The battle inside the central spire was fierce but brief. Zephyrian guards fought with crystal weapons that shot energy beams. Korthak soldiers used biological armor that could stop bullets. Veltar warriors attacked in swarms using poisoned claws. But humans had prepared for all these threats. Human soldiers wore special armor that reflected energy beams back at crystal warriors. They carried weapons that fired acidic rounds designed to dissolve biological armor. They used sonic grenades that disrupted Veltar swarm coordination and made the bug warriors attack each other instead of humans. Pete Martinez personally captured the 3 alien leaders in the tower's top floor. High Crystal Zeftai looked like a living diamond with glowing blue eyes. Dominant Korthvus resembled a giant octopus covered in black metal plates. Queen Voice Velmari was a huge insect with wings that sparkled like rainbows. "You will surrender all alien forces on Earth," Pete told the captured leaders. "Humans have returned and Earth belongs to us again." The alien leaders were shocked to see humans after 3,000 years. They had believed humanity was extinct or scattered among distant stars. They never imagined humans could organize such a powerful attack. Within 12 hours of the first nanobot activation, human forces controlled Earth's orbital space and had captured the alien leadership. Some alien forces were still fighting in remote locations, but they were cut off from command and supplies. The war for Earth was essentially over. Jake Morrison landed his damaged ship in Central Park near the alien tower. He walked outside and breathed Earth's air for the first time in his life. The air was still poisoned, but it was getting cleaner every hour thanks to Amy's atmospheric processors. Admiral Cooper broadcast a message to all remaining alien forces. "Lay down your weapons and surrender. Earth is under human control again. Those who surrender will be treated fairly. Those who continue fighting will be destroyed." Most aliens chose to surrender rather than continue a hopeless fight. Earth belonged to humanity once more. 2 weeks after the battle ended, humans faced their biggest choice since returning to Earth. The alien leaders sat in prison cells inside the central spire, while human commanders argued about what to do with them. Some humans wanted immediate revenge for 3,000 years of exile and suffering. Others believed in showing mercy to create lasting peace. Admiral Ryan Cooper called a meeting of all human leaders in the Great Hall of the Central Spire. The room had once been where aliens made decisions about Earth. Now humans would decide the fate of their former enemies. The hall was large enough to hold representatives from the space fleet, underground survivors, and captured alien populations. Captain Jake Morrison spoke first for the fleet commanders. His voice was angry as he pointed at the alien prisoners. "These creatures drove us from our home and poisoned our world," Jake said. "They treated Earth like a trophy and humans like animals. We should load them all onto ships and send them to the coldest planets we can find." Many fleet officers agreed with Jake. They had grown up hearing stories about the day aliens invaded Earth. Their grandparents had died fighting or running from alien armies. These humans wanted the aliens to suffer the same exile that humans had endured. Kate Williams stood up to speak for the underground survivors. Her people had a different view because they had lived alongside aliens for 3,000 years. "Not all aliens are the same," Kate said calmly. "Some Zephyrians hid human artifacts when their leaders ordered them destroyed. Some Korthak gave medicine to sick human children. Some Veltar even warned us when alien patrols were coming. The underground humans had seen individual aliens show kindness, even when their species was at war with humanity. These acts of mercy had helped human communities survive in the tunnels and caves." Kate believed some aliens deserved a chance to prove they could live peacefully with humans. Dr. Amy Foster had spent the past 2 weeks studying records from the alien occupation. She had learned which aliens participated in destroying human culture and which ones tried to preserve it. Amy proposed creating a system where good aliens could stay on Earth while bad ones were punished. "We should judge each alien by their individual actions," Amy suggested. "Those who helped humans should be allowed to live in special areas under human supervision. Those who hurt humans should face trial and punishment. We must be fair but also protect ourselves." The debate continued for hours as different human groups expressed their opinions. Some wanted complete revenge, while others favored mercy. The disagreement grew so heated that guards had to separate angry humans who started fighting each other. Judge Helen Price had been elected to oversee the alien trials. Helen was a wise woman who had served as a judge on 3 different human colonies. She believed in justice rather than revenge. Helen proposed a formal trial system where aliens could defend themselves and humans could present evidence. "We will establish a tribunal," Helen announced. "Each alien leader will have the chance to explain their actions. We will hear testimony from both human victims and alien witnesses. Then we will make fair decisions based on facts rather than emotions." The tribunal began 1 week later in the same hall where humans had argued. High Crystal Zeftai was the first alien to face judgment, the crystal being sparkled with blue light as it spoke in a voice like wind chimes. Zeftai claimed that Zephyrians had improved Earth by building beautiful crystal cities and advancing technology. "We brought order to your chaotic world," Zeftai said through a translation device. "We created wonders that humans could never have imagined. We gave Earth a purpose greater than simple biological existence. But humans presented evidence that Zephyrians had destroyed human libraries, museums, and schools. They had melted down human art to make materials for crystal buildings. They had forbidden humans from practicing their own culture or speaking their own languages." Kate Williams testified about Zephyrians who had helped humans. She told the tribunal about a crystal being named Velti, who had secretly preserved human books in hidden locations. She spoke about others who had warned underground communities about dangerous crystal radiation. Dominant Korthvas was next to face judgment. The octopus-like creature stood on 8 mechanical legs while its natural tentacles waved in the air. Korthvas argued that Korthak had brought efficiency and organization to human society. "Your species was wasteful and disorganized," Korthvas stated. "We eliminated poverty and crime through proper management. We gave every human a productive role in society. We created stability that your chaotic democracy could never achieve." Humans responded with testimony about Korthak labor camps where humans had been forced to work until they died. They presented evidence of biological experiments where Korthak scientists had tested new technologies on human subjects. They showed records of humans who had been killed for refusing to obey Korthak orders. But again, some Korthak had shown mercy. Underground leader Tom Barnes testified about a Korthak doctor who had secretly treated human diseases. The doctor had risked punishment to save human lives during a plague that swept through the underground communities. Queen Voice Velmari was the last alien leader to face trial. The insect ruler stood 7 feet tall with 4 arms and wings that changed color based on her emotions. Velmari claimed that Veltar had only sought to preserve and protect life on Earth. "We are gardeners of living things," Velmari buzzed through her translator. "We maintained the balance of life that humans had disrupted. We prevented extinction of species that human industry had endangered. We were caretakers, not conquerors. Humans presented evidence that Veltar had transformed vast areas of Earth into alien ecosystems. They had introduced alien plants and animals that competed with Earth species. They had altered the atmosphere to suit alien life forms rather than preserving it for human needs. However, some Veltar had indeed protected Earth animals from extinction. Underground survivor Lisa Chen testified about insect beings who had secretly fed starving human communities. These Veltar had shared their knowledge of growing food in hostile environments. As the trials continued, a disturbing pattern emerged among the human audience. Radical elements from both sides tried to disrupt the proceedings. Some humans attempted to break into the prison to kill alien leaders before they could be judged. Other humans who sympathized with aliens tried to help prisoners escape. The crisis reached its peak when fighting broke out in the tribunal hall. Fleet officers who wanted revenge battled underground humans who favored mercy. The conflict threatened to tear apart the fragile unity that had won the war against aliens. Admiral Cooper and Kate Williams worked together to restore order. They reminded everyone that humans had fought too hard to reclaim Earth, only to destroy themselves with internal fighting. Cooper ordered fleet security to protect the tribunal while Kate convinced underground fighters to lay down their weapons. "We are better than this," Cooper told the crowd. "We will not let anger turn us into the same kind of monsters we fought against. Justice will be served through law, not violence." The trials resumed with increased security and stricter rules. As more evidence was presented, it became clear that the alien species were not equally guilty of crimes against humanity. Individual aliens within each species had made different choices about how to treat their human subjects. After 3 months of trials and testimony, Judge Helen Price announced the tribunal's final decisions. The Great Hall was packed with humans and the few aliens who had been allowed to attend. The air was thick with tension as Helen stood to read the judgment that would shape Earth's future. "We have listened to evidence from hundreds of witnesses," Helen began. "We have examined records spanning 3,000 years of occupation. Today we establish a new order for Earth based on justice rather than revenge." The first decision concerned the alien leaders. High Crystal Zeftai would be exiled to a distant crystal world where Zephyrian refugees had already established colonies. Dominant Korthivus would be sent to a Korthak research station on the edge of the galaxy. Queen Voice Velmari would be relocated to a planet where Veltar could continue their gardening work without harming other species. "These leaders will not be executed," Helen explained, "but they will never return to Earth. They have lost the right to live on the world they occupied." The crowd of humans had mixed reactions. Some cheered while others grumbled that the punishment was too light. Captain Jake Morrison shook his head in disappointment but remained silent. He had hoped for harsher justice. The second decision addressed the ordinary alien populations on Earth. About 2 million aliens lived on the planet when humans returned. Most would be relocated to worlds controlled by their own species. However, aliens who had helped humans during the occupation could apply to remain as supervised residents. "We will establish reconciliation zones," Helen announced. "These are areas where reformed aliens can live under human oversight. They will contribute to Earth's restoration while proving their commitment to peace." Kate Williams smiled at this decision. She had argued strongly for giving good aliens a second chance. Many underground humans supported this policy because they remembered individual aliens who had shown kindness during the dark years. Dr. Amy Foster was placed in charge of the Great Restoration Project. Her job was to return Earth's environment to its natural state, while keeping beneficial alien improvements. The work would take decades, but it was starting immediately. Amy's teams began dismantling the floating Zephyrian cities and recycling their crystal materials. The crystals were beautiful and strong, so they were used to build new human settlements. The poison that aliens had put in the oceans was slowly being cleaned by specially designed bacteria. The Korthak mining operations on the moon were shut down and converted into human research stations. The scars left by strip mining would be healed with new human technology. The Veltar hive cities were reduced in size but allowed to continue operating under strict population controls. Admiral Ryan Cooper was elected as the first president of the reformed Earth Republic. His victory was not surprising since he had led humanity's successful return to Earth. Cooper's first speech as president was broadcast to every human settlement in the galaxy. "Earth is ours again," Cooper declared. "But we will not repeat the mistakes that led to our exile. We will be strong but not cruel. We will be vigilant but not paranoid. We will build a world worthy of the sacrifices made to reclaim it." Cooper's government included representatives from both the returning fleet and the underground survivors. Kate Williams became the head of planetary defense, responsible for ensuring Earth would never again be vulnerable to invasion. Her knowledge of hidden tunnels and secret passages made her perfect for this role. Captain Jake Morrison was promoted to admiral and given command of the new Terran Space Guard. This military force would protect human colonies throughout the galaxy and respond to any alien threats. Jake was still bitter about the merciful treatment of aliens, but he accepted his new role with determination. The Space Guard's first mission was to contact human colonies that had lost touch with Earth during the occupation. Some colonies had thrived and grown strong during the exile. Others had struggled and barely survived. All were overjoyed to learn that Earth was free again. Dr. Amy Foster made remarkable progress with the restoration project. Within 1 year, Earth's oceans had returned to their natural blue color. The poisoned atmosphere was slowly becoming breathable for unmodified humans. Plants and animals that had been driven underground began returning to the surface. The reconciliation zones proved successful in most cases. About 50,000 aliens had applied to remain on Earth, and most were adapting well to human rule. They worked on restoration projects and shared their knowledge of alien technology. Some even helped design defenses against their own species. However, not all aliens accepted the new order peacefully. Small groups of Korthak militants tried to sabotage human facilities. Some Zephyrian fanatics attempted to restart their crystal cities in remote locations. A few Veltar queens tried to establish unauthorized hive colonies. These incidents were handled quickly by Kate Williams and her defense forces. The underground humans had become expert fighters during 3,000 years of hiding. They tracked down alien troublemakers and stopped their activities before they could cause serious damage. 2 years after the liberation, Earth held its first New Earth Day celebration. The holiday marked the anniversary of humanity's return and the beginning of the planet's restoration. Representatives from friendly alien species attended as honored guests, showing that former enemies could become allies. Children who had been born after the liberation played in parks built on former battlefields. The parks had flowers from both Earth and alien worlds growing together in harmony. The sky was clear blue again and the oceans sparkled with clean water. Admiral Cooper stood in the same observation deck where Captain Jake Morrison had first looked upon Earth 4 years earlier. But instead of planning an invasion, Cooper was watching human children play while alien visitors walked peacefully among them. The sight filled him with pride and hope. The message was clear to everyone who saw Earth's transformation. Humanity had returned not just to seek revenge, but to build something better than had existed before. The planet was more beautiful than it had ever been, because it combined the best of human and alien knowledge. Earth's orbital space was now protected by the most advanced defense network in the galaxy. Human and friendly alien technologies worked together to create shields that could stop any invasion. The planet would never again be vulnerable to attack. Trade routes connected Earth to hundreds of human colonies and dozens of alien worlds. The planet had become the center of a new galactic community based on cooperation rather than conquest. Species that had once been enemies now worked together for mutual benefit. As Cooper watched the sunset over the restored New York skyline, he reflected on humanity's journey. They had been driven from their home as refugees and returned as conquerors. But their greatest victory was choosing mercy over revenge and building peace instead of perpetuating war. Earth belonged to humanity again, and this time, they would be ready for whatever challenges the universe might bring. The blue planet continued to spin in space. No longer a prize to be won, but a home to be cherished and protected for all future generations.